Whew. All right, folks, that was a lot of material, but the topic was very important, and I hope we got a lot out of it as it relates to acknowledging the trauma and understanding the roots of police violence and how communities of color feel about police violence. So for this section, we'll talk about the assignment. We'll talk about hands up, don't shoot, which is something that I want to share with you, and the final thoughts. So in this presentation, we covered origins of police violence in America. We covered defining police violence. We covered police violence specific to minority populations. We also covered collateral consequences for communities of color. We covered acknowledging the trauma. And last but not least, repairing community relationships and healing from the trauma. And I think that all these particular sections continue to play a part in bringing forth what Colin Kaepernick did, or what he's continuing to do with his protests. A peaceful protest, might I add. So again, this presentation is not to demonize police forces. It's not to say that the police are bad, but what it is focused on is acknowledging that there is trauma, and for those of us who are mental health professionals to do more and to have more tools at our disposal. So for this assignment, I want you to write a 3 to 5 page paper about your feelings regarding the issue of police violence in America, in particular towards African Americans. Please be sure to address the following areas. What are your feelings on the subject of police violence and its impact on inducing trauma in communities of color? Do you believe there is cause for concern? Please elaborate. 2. Was there a time that you were ever pulled over or questioned by police and felt you or someone you were with could be in danger? 3. Given the dozens of cases over the past decade that has garnered national attention, which one do you notice or do you believe is the most egregious and that sticks out as causing violence and trauma in your opinion? Number 4. With the established blue code of silence, what can so-called good cops and policy officials do to lessen the instances of police violence and improve public perception of police in communities of color? And what can we do to improve community relations among law enforcement and communities of color? So these are the 5 sections of the paper. This paper should be written in APA format and include at least 3 citations. I gave you plenty of citations within this paper. I would ask that you at least use 2 of them, but please be sure to use other citations as well. Hands up. And in this picture, you see both an individual protesting in Ferguson as well as a police officer, both with their hands up. In the previous section, we talked about research shows that officers themselves are often fearful of communities of color. It is my belief that we should work together amongst officers and amongst communities of color so that we can not be fearful of each other. We can learn from one another. And also more officers who represent and look like the community should also be in uniform and patrol those particular communities. Because with both of us with our hands up, I don't believe anyone should shoot. So with respect to that, all I ask you today is that if you see an individual, and if an officer sees an individual with his hands up, I ask that you don't. Please don't shoot. Thank you guys. It's been a pleasure doing this presentation. And I'm looking to hear your comments, hear how you feel about the presentation, hear how you feel about this subject. Peace.